Now, how do we show respect during Nomikai? I feel like the most representative example is to pour alcohol for people that are more senior than you.
Yokoso and welcome to Late Night in Japan. We're Seth, Mike, and Tate, three Japanese guys with rich overseas experiences, here to bring you fun, unfiltered conversations about life in Japan. In this podcast, we dive into the stories that make life here so unique, from culture shocks to hidden gems and everything in between. We're here to share the side of Japan you won't find in guidebooks. If you're curious about Japanese culture and want to laugh, learn, and maybe be surprised along the way, you're in the right place, so let's get right into it. Alright, so today we're diving into one of Japan's most fascinating cultural traditions, Nomikai. So, what exactly is Nomikai? Well, in simple terms, it's a drinking party, but it's much more than just a casual gathering over drinks. Nomikai is a cornerstone of Japanese work and social culture, where people come together to relax, bond, and strengthen relationships beyond their formalities of the workplace. And these gatherings are typically held after work and can be organized for various reasons, whether it's to celebrate a team achievement, shukushokai, welcome a new colleague, kangekai, or even mark the end of the year with a bonenkai, which translates to forget the year party.
Forget the year party.
Yeah.
But what makes Nomikai truly special isn't just the food or drinks. It's the unique opportunity to let loose, break down the barriers, and connect with others on a more personal level. So if you're planning to live or work in Japan, it's a great idea to have a clear understanding of Nomikai, including the unwritten rules and rituals that come with the event, which we'll be covering today. So let's get started. Mike, you want to kick things off?
Sure. So I think one of the biggest things to remember when attending Nomikai is to always show respect to those who are senior of you. That's people who are not only older than you, but those who have been at the company longer as well. And I feel like this comes from Japan as a society, really values seniority and showing respect to their elders. So this is very important to remember during Nomikai. Now, how do we show respect during Nomikai? I feel like the most representative example is to pour alcohol for people that are more senior than you. So, for example, let's say your boss is sitting right in front of you and their glass, let's say it's beer for the sake of the argument, their glass is half empty. Then you'll offer to pour more beer into his or her cup. Now, if they're drinking something other than beer and you don't have like a bottle with you, then you'll ask them, "Tsugi nani nomarimasu ka?" which translates to, "What will you drink next?" And they'll say, "Oh, just give me another beer," or whatever. And then you'll order that for them. It's very important to make sure that you offer to pour them alcohol, because if they're kind of waiting for it. So if they end up pouring it on their own, that means, you didn't notice and you weren't considerate, and it's a don't-know. So make sure to always be alert and constantly check everyone's glasses.
That's
Yeah,
so.
that's I guess
That's so BS. personally, but
simply
like-
put, yeah, it's BS, but
yeah.
welcome to Japan.
Yeah. When you're the youngest among your team or among the office, you have to watch out for mostly everybody's drink. So, Nomikai it's not a drinking party for you. It's work. It's business.
Yeah.
And for some people, like, they have their own pace of drinking. So, and they prefer not to be poured. So, that's one thing that's super difficult.
That's super true.
Yeah. So, but some restaurants have self-ordering tablets and QR codes to order through your personal phone. So these types of eating places are really helpful when you're the person to arrange the nomikai, especially when you're expecting a lot of seniors.
So you can't be relaxed during the nomikai, right?
Yeah.
If you're alert, you have to be considerate.
Yeah.
You gotta be asking everyone, do you want drinks? or not? The whole entire thing.
Yeah. It's not very relaxing. It's not. It's like Tate mentioned. It's basically work if you're the youngest.
All right. Well, I'd like to talk about the ipponjime, which is a Japanese clapping ritual performed at the end of the nomikai to signal closure and show appreciation at the end. So here's how it works. Towards the end of the gathering, someone, usually the most senior or the organizer of the event, will call for everyone's attention, and they'll share a few closing remarks to wrap up the nomikai, and then say the phrase, それでは皆さん一本締めをしましょう, which means let's do a 一本締め together. And at that moment, everyone just claps together, synchronized, and the nomikai comes to an end. And no, the purpose of this is to just end the event on a high note and fostering a sense of, I guess, unity and gratitude. It's simple, but it's something that's cultural and done at most nomikais. So, Mike, I think you told us that you're a professional ipponjime coder.
Yeah. So,
do you have any advice for?
Unfortunately, I've had more than many opportunities to do ipponjime at my current company. I guess the only advice I really have is to keep it simple, keep your message simple and short. At the very end, everyone's drunk, so no one's actually really going to remember what you even said anyways. Mm-hmm. So keep it short, keep it simple, but always be prepared. And I say that because many times no one knows who's going to do the honors for ipponjime till the last second. So for example, maybe your boss will say, all right, so-and-so, finish us off. And if you're not prepared, you're going to have to kind of think on the spot. And you're going to stutter and be like, before your words, between your words. And it's not a pleasant experience for everyone. So always be prepared. And what I do is during the drinking party, during the nomikai, I kind of think what I would say if I was asked to do the honors for the ipponjime. It doesn't have to be word for word, but just have a general idea of what you would like to talk about. And usually that's more than enough to prepare.
That's tough. Like having to think through all of that while being alert and pouring drinks for other people at the same time.
If I'm being honest, most of the time, like 80%, I just go with the flow.
Okay.
But it does help. It does help to be prepared.
All right. Well, Tate, do you want to go on with your point?
So I'll be talking about the aftermath of nomikai.
Yeah.
So, yeah, nomikai isn't over on that day. You got to do stuff on the next day. So first of all, you have to thank your senior employees for their participation and advice given during the nomikai. And a lot of Japanese companies promote people based on age and years of service, which makes them more experienced in that field. So it's fairly common to see senior employees giving work-related valuable advice during nomikai. And as Steph mentioned before, companies see nomikai as a good opportunity for young workers to learn from their elders, their seniors, which is believed to ultimately lead to the further development of the company. Mm-hmm. So it sounds BS, but I personally think nomikai is a good opportunity to become better acquainted with their coworkers. So I'm not really. It does sound BS, but I'm kind of okay with it. And another thing you have to do is, if you're the kanji or the person who arranged the nomikai, you have to pay the bill on behalf of the team. And then after the nomikai, it's usually the next day, you split the bill based on rank and age. So for example, let's say you have a nomikai with your boss and senior employee whose rank is higher than you. And let's say the bill was like 10,000 yen. What you have to do is split the bill so your boss will pay the most. And the senior employee will pay the second. And you will pay the least. And this is done we do this because a lot of traditional Japanese companies apply seniority, meaning salary and promotion is based on age and years of service. So seniors have more money to spend, inevitably leading to this unwritten rule where bosses pay for their subordinate and senpais pay for their kohais. So I mean, splitting the bill is loads of work, but as long as you're young, you kind of benefit a little bit from it. Yeah, so that's the aftermath of, I think, any kind of corporate nomikai.
Yeah, I mean, the good part is you don't have to pay as much as the seniors, so they pay for you. But coming from a young generation standpoint, all the preparation and the aftermath that Tate talked about, just for that 2 to 3 hours of drinking, sometimes I just don't think it's worth it. But no, all of us have our own opinions, but that's just mine. And that wraps up our dive into the fascinating world of nomikai and the unique rules and traditions surrounding it. We hope you have a better understanding of this cultural practice and why it's such an important part of Japanese social life. Whether you're planning to attend a nomikai in Japan or just want to learn about Japanese traditions, remembering the significance of rituals like ipponjime can make your experience that much more meaningful. So thanks for tuning in to Late Night in Japan. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with your friends. So, Mike, you want to close this off with a ipponjime?
はい、それでは皆さん、一本締めのご準備をお願いいたします。お手を拝借。よー。